Hi girls, Miss Gaska here. This video is for the 8th grade 4th quarter week 1 activity 4.4 called Humorous Anecdotes. So our learning targets are to analyze how authors convey humor in speech and writing, to write and present an oral reading of an original anecdote, and to analyze the effect of verbals in a humorous text. Our learning strategies today are going to be graphic organizers, discussion groups, rereading, close reading, marking the text, brainstorming, twist, and oral reading. So to begin with, I've gone ahead and highlighted what an anecdote is. Number 1 says, read the following information to see how the use of anecdotes applies to a study of humor. Okay? So an anecdote is a brief, entertaining account of an incident or event. Often, anecdotes are shared because of their humorous nature, but anecdotes can also help illustrate larger ideas and concepts. Families sometimes share anecdotes about the humorous things family members have done. Frequently, the stories become more and more absurd as the details are exaggerated with each retelling. So this is basically like when you tell a story with your family or friends about something that's happened in your life or to somebody that you know. That's what an anecdote is. It's basically sharing a small, brief story. Number 2 says, do you or your family have a humorous anecdote that is shared over and over? What is it? Why is it retold? Who tells it? And how does it change over time? So, although it says you and your family, if you would rather use one from you and your friends, that's perfectly acceptable. So feel free to use one from your family or your friends. Write it here, write why it's retold, who tells it, and how it changes over time. Okay? Now, we're going to go down to viewing a humorous monologue. So this part we're actually going to skip because I don't have access to the video that you're supposed to watch for this. So we're going to X this out. This is not something that we are having to do, okay? And that also means we could cancel this page too. So we should be starting at the one that says, check your understanding. So you'll see it says list 3 ways the comedian in the clip made the audience laugh. We're not going to use that one either. This one, we're also not going to use because it also has to do with the clip. So now we arrive at preview. It says, in this activity, you will read a humorous essay and think about any funny memories you've had related to a road trip or riding in the car. Setting a purpose for reading, the most important part. I'm going to say that every time, the most important part. As you read this essay, underline words and phrases that made you think of your own experiences and memories. Okay, so that's what we're looking for this time. Words or phrases to make you think of your own experiences and memories. The second one says circle unknown words and phrases. Try to determine the meaning of the words by using context clues, word parts, or a dictionary. Okay, so I put a circle around that to show you what we're doing. So we're looking for things that remind us of our own memories. So yours are not going to be the same as mine. And we're also looking for unknown words and phrases to circle and try to figure out what they mean. Alright, so I'll do the first part with you. And then I'm going to let you finish it. So it begins, brothers are the guys you stick with and stick up for. The Skieska brothers are scattered all over the country now, but we still get together once a year to play a family golf tournament. We've named it after our dad, Lou, and his favorite car, his old Cadillac Coupe de Ville. It is the Coupe de Lou Classic. We all grew up playing golf because Dad Lou, an elementary school principal, taught junior golf and gave us lessons during summers off. And I'm sure my brothers would want me to point out the amazing fact that I am the winner of both the very first Coupe de Lou 1983 and the latest Coupe de Lou 2004. But of all the Skiesa brother memories, I believe it was a family car trip that gave us our finest moments of brotherhood. We were driving cross country from Michigan to Florida, all of us, including the family cat, a Guy cat naturally, and the family station wagon. Somewhere mid-trip, we stopped at one of those Stuckey's rest stop restaurants to eat and load up on Stuckey's candy. So I might underline that part because going on road trips and stopping at rest stops. So that reminded me of how, like, when we go on road trips, we pull over to a rest stop. Sometimes we get stuff out of the vending machine if we want something to snack on. So like I said, things you underline are going to be associated with your memories, not mine. So make sure you're underlining things that remind you of something you've experienced. Okay? And you're also circling unfamiliar words and phrases. So as you continue reading this, you're going to be looking for those things. Obviously, you don't have very many paragraphs left to read. And so I'm going to go over with you now how to answer these questions. So number 6 says, how does the author use dashes and parentheses for comic effect? So when they say dashes, what they're talking about are the ones that look like this, also called a hyphen. And when they're talking about parentheses, they're talking about these ones, okay? So you're looking for those and you're explaining how the author uses them in order to add comic effect. So he's adding more detail. Is he giving examples? Like, what is he doing to make his story more funny using those kind of, side pieces? Those are not part of the main part of the sentence. So number 2 says, how are the golf tournament and the road trip incident connected? So after you read the story, you got to describe how those things are connected. Now it says, review the essay, meaning the thing that you just read, and make connections between the essay and your own experiences. Also think about other humorous texts you have read and how the essay connects to those texts. Finally, make connections between the essay and the world around you. Use the following symbols to mark the text. So you're going to go back and look at that piece you've already read, and now you're going to add the symbols ES, meaning essay to self, ET, meaning essay to other texts, and then EW for essay to world. Okay? So, now we're going to look at the strategy called TWIST. TWIST is an acronym for tone, word choice, imagery, style, and theme. This writing subject helps a writer analyze each of these elements in a text in order to write a response to an analytical writing prompt about the text. So the first one says tone. What is the author's attitude about the topic? So by attitude, I mean, like, how does he feel about the topic? Does he think it's funny? Does he think it's ridiculous? Does he think it's stupid? Does he think it's sad? What does he think about it? Number 2, word choice. What specific diction does the author use for effect? So you're looking for specific words that contribute to the way the piece reads. These words will usually have some type of connotation. Remember, like a feeling association, to help you know that those are the words that you're supposed to be looking for. Imagery. What specific descriptive details and figurative language does the author use for effect? So you're looking for things like metaphors, similes, things that evoke the senses, like really descriptive parts that make you feel like sights, smells, tastes, sounds, things like that. The next part says style. So how does the author use language to create humor? What is the intended response the author hopes to achieve? So that basically means how does the way the author writes kind of add to the humor of the piece? Like, what is it about the author's writing that makes it so funny? And what is the author hoping to achieve by telling this story? And then theme is, what is the central idea of the text? What idea about life is the author trying to convey through humor? So you're looking for the message behind the words that the author is trying to share about his story. Alright? So as you read through that, those are the things you're looking for. And then you'll fill out the chart with those details. Excuse me. Number 10 says, once you have found textual evidence from the text brothers and made an inference about the theme, you are ready to write an analytical topic sentence. State the title, author, and genre, also called tag, in your thesis or topic sentence. For example, John Skieska's anecdote Brothers is a low-level comedy that uses a comic situation, exaggeration, and comic diction to reveal a universal truth about how brothers who laugh together stick together. So you're going to be writing a topic, or actually no, because we didn't watch a stand-up comedy. So never mind on that part. You don't have to write a topic sentence about a stand-up comedy because we didn't watch one. And then here it says use the twist graphic organizer to plan your own anecdote. So here you would write the subject of your humorous memory, so something that happened in your life that's funny. Over here you would write people, places, and events. So the things, the people who were there, the places it involved, and what happened, or if it was like at a specific event. Tone is like, what is your attitude about the topic? So you're going to write about what you're going to do to convey that attitude. So for instance, use specific word choice or diction, use imagery, use detail, things like that are things that you can do to convey the tone. What specific diction can you use for that effect? So this would be like specific words you're going to use in order to help develop your tone. Imagery will refer to the specific description and figurative language that you can use for effect. That could be like similes, metaphors, onomatopoeias, whatever kind of figurative language you want to use, as well as being descriptive and invoking the senses like your sense of touch, taste, sight, smell, sound. And then here for style, how can you use language like diction and syntax, which is sentence structure, to create humor? And what is the intended response you hope to achieve? So like, what can you do to make the writing funnier? And also, what kind of response do you want your audience to feel? And then theme is, what idea about life are you trying to convey through humor? Okay, and that's going to be some kind of a topic that you want to share by telling this story. Okay, so once you're done with that chart, you're going to draft your anecdote. So by draft, I mean you're going to write out a first rough draft of your story, okay? Be sure to include a beginning, middle, and end. When you write your draft, think about using verbals. Remember we talked about verbals being the infinitives, the participles, and the gerunds. So you might want to go back and look at those words again and figure out what that means. And then as you write your draft, or study the material below to learn about using verbals, so it includes it down here. And also, it asks you to present an oral reading of your draft to your partner, but you don't have to do this part because this is online, so you don't have to worry about presenting it to your partner. But you will be turning it into me, your rough draft, so that I can give you some feedback on it, okay? So here it says, you have learned that a verbal is a verb form that does not function as a verb. Types of verbals are gerunds, participles, and infinitives. Now you remember before we talked about what each of those things are. So go ahead and read this part to understand verbals further, and then you're going to write a brief summary of Joe Skieska's anecdote using one infinitive, one gerund, and one participle. You could do that over here on the side. So basically you're describing what, you're telling the story, or you're giving a summary of the story, and you're going to make sure to use one of each types of those verbals, okay? And if you need any additional help with that, please let me know. I know that could be a little bit confusing. So here, writing to sources, explanatory text, it says, select an anecdote in audio or visual format, or print a copy of the anecdote you read in this activity. Write a paragraph explaining the humor the author creates and its intended response. So, I'm going to tell you that you can skip this part since this activity, you're already writing your own anecdote and you're already using all of those things. So instead of doing that activity, I'm going to have you revise your anecdote when I give it back to you with its feedback. So that's something we're going to do on a future assignment. But for this one, just focus on writing your own anecdote and completing the other activities without having to do this extra writing task. All right? So I hope that you understand everything I was able to present. This is the end of week 1. So please let me know if you have any questions. And once again, thank you for watching.